and gentlemen,
Good morning!
Welcome to Good Morning Wrestling with your host Samuel Lyon on the Sports Jedi Network Heel of the Ring podcast, your morning fix on the world of pro wrestling. WWE Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, AEW, Evolve, MLP with hot takes, reviews, rumors, opinions. Tune in, let's start your day by getting over and feel the force.
Please hit the like button, share and subscribe to our channel. Watch along with live wrestling events on Heel of the Ring playback app. Follow Samuel Lyon at SamuelEkPay7 on the X app.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Wrestling. Yeah, as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast, live on Sports Jedi Network, live on YouTube, live on Twitch, live on X. And we love that you are here with us. I love it. I'm so grateful to be able to be here. Shout out to our coach, our host, the founder, the man that runs the place, the man that holds it down here on Sports Jedi Network, Sir Kev. Congratulations. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And to Chris, amazing. I love you for everything you do. I love what you do. It was live on playback for NXT. It was a great stream, and obviously, I did check out the first 30 minutes of the show, and obviously, I have it down there, Chris. I got you, and I'm gonna do the rundown. Today, we are kicking off a little bit early because of circumstances, but I love the fact, and I wish you're up this morning. You can get your espresso, your coffee, your tea, and if you're like me, you know, you're getting your room temperature water to kick off the day for you. Good morning, welcome to Good Morning Wrestling. I still remain your host, Samuel Lyon, and today's show is gonna be fun. We're gonna try something simple. We're gonna keep it simple and stupid. We're gonna keep it fun. We're gonna make it live and lovely for you. I'm so grateful to be here on the second show for us this week. And this past show, shout out to Cameron for joining us on Monday's show. I really love the fact that he is there with us and he was able to do that for us. So today's show, just like I said, and I'm gonna keep it simple as we're gonna kiss the show so well. And I love to get down into business. For the first part of the show, I want to address what Chris. If you haven't checked Chris' show, you could go check it on playback, the NXT live stream. The first 30 minutes, Chris had a lot of address to do on the show, and he did address some of the key things in the world of pro wrestling, and definitely I needed to check that out to know what he had to say and to see what I can say about it. And obviously I did take notes, and one of the big things Chris said was the Anthony Bowen situation. I'm going to start right there. The Anthony Bowen situation. Chris had a lot to say about that in terms of the fact that he just hoped this is a tease for All In, and not that that return. Immediately said that I had to go check out the pre-show because, folks, I did not check that out. Not after the 5 hours debacle that we all had to go through, and having to check that out, and I was like, and the theme song, the present, it looks like $1 million. You know, sometimes when a breakup like this happens, like, who is the Marty Jannetty of the team? we say that is Max Caster right now, even though he was the brightest star, he was the star player in the team, and you were concerned that, oh, if this team was to break up, how would how would Bowens fare? All of a sudden, Bowens came back, and in that moment, Bowens looked like the bigger star. He looked like someone that had a brighter future, because obviously Max has been around and we've been struggling and not like seeing what he is doing. And it was just like a whole lot of situation. I'm looking at it and I'm like, it was a great moment, and I'm like, how come Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight, no offense to Will Ospreay, no, not to the that. How come Chris Jericho and Bandido made it to the show, and this did not get anywhere near the show? Imagine the eyes that would have been on them saying, oh, who is that guy? And I love the play on what the pride of pro wrestling. Wink, wink. I love that. But I just wish this was the show, and I hope this, one thing with AEW, they don't know how to do follow up. I mean, if history has taught us anything, is follow up is not always taken seriously in this company. So I just wish they could do follow up on this and give us something that we deserve, because these guys are indeed great at what they do. They really surprised. They really did surprise me, and surprised me sincerely on what they did. And I hope this. I wish this was on the main card. But anyways, we'll see what they do with them. And if they don't do anything, still will not be surprised. So yeah, I stand with you, Chris, on that. And Chris also, okay, why Bandido and Chris? Why was Bandido and Chris on the mention? Like, that was bullshit. And I see you early morning over them. Sorry for my words. I'm gonna keep it cool. Yeah. I felt the same time. Like, why is Chris and Bandido on the main show? He had little or no story. You would say, oh, the past few weeks on Collision, but who watches that show? Let's be real here. Who watches that show? Except for the sequels. And for the main audience, like, I don't know why we needed that thing on the show. It was not really needed, in my own opinion. It was not needed. Great moment for Bandido, nonetheless. The fact that, everything transparent that led up to that moment. I'm happy he's champion. I'm happy he got the moment with his family. Like, that was beautiful. Handing over the championship to his mom. That was beautiful. But how he got there, Aubrey Edwards was not even part of the match for her to come out, and then because of the family said so. Like, when the rules changed, Boston Open had a lot to say about that too. And like, so most might not agree with most of the takes over there, but at the end of the day, logic should be logic. Like, are we changing our wrestling rules because of this company? It's just like a whole lot of situation that is around that. Chris, see, this is on NXT stream on playback from the Sports Data Network that Chris and his co-host held down last night. So I'm just going over the first 30 minutes of the show, of the stream, that Chris did. And shout out to Chris for all he's doing for the Sports Data Network. I'm just going through. I watched the 30 minutes, so I'm trying to also give my thoughts and review, in case you're wondering, what am I doing? This is still Good Morning Wrestling, so a lot of reviews are on here today for us. And he did talk about Braun, wanting Braun versus Penta to be, like, he wished that it would have been a single and then had freedom to be a single. I know Chris would be eating this up when he gets to hear what I have to say about this, because I believe 2 weeks ago, the last time I was on the weekly wrestling review here on Sports Data Network as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast, the show hosted by Kev and Chris. They do a nice job on the weekly review. I was on there the 2 weeks later. I was not there last week, but a week before last week, I was there on the show. You can go check it out, and we did address this point. I'm sorry there. We did address this point, and the main reason why, the main thing that came up that we said on this was the fact that we are, as of right now, we are 1 week away from WrestleMania. Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor's story, yes, they've been together for years, but like, I believe it's a story that needs to be stretched. I mean, we don't really like longer stories and everything, but I believe this one deserves the time and energy, because this is them going to literally tease them or Dom and Dominic Mysterio literally going babyface. You get, this is where Dominic Mysterio is going to talk to the good guy. So quote unquote, we need time to digest that, because this dude has been a bad guy. We've hated him. Nobody wants him to speak. If he carries the mic, nobody wants to hear him talk. F off, dumb, and all of that. And so imagine rushing that up. And I did say something, and also saying Penta and Braun. Nobody tells you they don't want to see Braun versus Penta one-on-one. That would be a sleeper banger. Like that would be like a match that you want. Okay, to be great, but it might blow up. Obviously, because of the great worker that Penta is and the magnificent worker that Braun Breaker is. So you would expect a band burner. You would expect a car crash. You expect those guys to hit. Those guys they're not scared of you get putting in the real ones there. So that would have been great. But like I said to Sakev on that stream 2 weeks ago, I said I believe this year feels so more so than a transitional year for the company, which is the WWE, because for almost 4 years we were on the reign of Roman Reigns. It ended last year, Cody's first year as the champion. We had a lot of changes on the show. New faces were trying to get up. New stars were being created. People were now becoming significant and a staple to shows. World Heavyweight, Gunther from IC transitioning to the World Heavyweight Champion. And we had Braun Breaker transitioning from NXT and now being a staple. Like we had a lot of moving cards all across the board, both straight, even leading up to NXT too. So you would imagine that because of that, there will be a whole lot of changes, and there has been a lot of changes. So you will be like, oh, Triple H has been in power for, let's call it 2 years now, but like this felt like its official staple year. WrestleMania last year was his first. This felt like this year's own feels more like, oh, it is not. Last year was a coming out party. This year feels like, okay, we launched last year. This is my first year running things. So everything was still moving. Cars were still moving. Things were still, and that's why I believe a whole lot of stories at WrestleMania. We barely have stories that are concluding on that show. Looking at the card, looking at the WrestleMania card, John, Cody, that feels more like, you can't say that's the end. That feels like something that is starting. That's brewing. You could go, Gunther J is one story I can say, oh, that feels more like something that is concluding. Would you say Roman, Punk, and Seth is a concluding pass to? It feels more like it. But if you are really looking at how broad this thing can be, it doesn't feel so. Naomi, Jade, you can't tell me that will be the first and the last. No. So I feel that the same way for the rest of the card. Everything feels as if it's a start of something new. So it's a transitional year. It feels more like a transitional year for me, and I feel that's the same way the company might be looking at it. That's why I felt it would have been, I will not say lazy, it would have been very crazy, not really crazy, but it would have been very crazy to like have Penta, Braun one-on-one. Although Penta has shown interest, but you could see Finn declaring for this. Finn has been pushing for this, and Liv has been telling Dom, oh, Finn, had tried that, did not win and everything. So what makes you think he's going to do this? You should also be included here and all of that. It's just a whole lot of moving parts. So we can't just have, oh, boom, let Finn get all of this done and then boom, let's have the WrestleMania match. No, I would love to have everything happen on the show. We get to have the mix of these guys, all these 4 guys together. Penta and Braun has their own story in the match. Finn and Dominic Mysterio has their own story in the match. So we can't we can't put these 4 guys on 2 separate matches. That's another one spot taken. And the story doesn't really have much bone on it. It's not as if the fans will complain. But if you are a storyteller as Triple H and the management team and the ambition of this ambition is, you would know that they really love their story and they love it being stretched. So I feel it was it's risky, but it was the best one to go with, having these 2 stories in one match and let them explode. Let it implode in there. Let it implode. Tell the story in there And then coming out of WrestleMania, this story can have more time to breathe. They can now tell the story apart from each other. So that's why that's the reason why I don't agree with Chris' take of these matches going one-on-one. But I love the fact that it's been mixed. Let it implode in the match. Let it go crazy. Let it go wire in the match. Let everything happen in the match. Like I can just imagine that moment where Finn will turn on Dominic Mysterio. Like, I want to see what happens. Oh, is Dominic doing that? I love what happened last year SummerSlam when Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley, and that felt like that was the first time in pro wrestling that the heel turned heel again by joining Liv Morgan and giving her the kiss outside. Please go back and watch and listen to the crowd. That crowd went nuts. And the facial expression on Rhea Ripley told the whole story. Like, you MF. Like, after all I've done for you, after all we've been able to do together, you had to leave me for her. Like, it told a whole lot of story that it was able to be the staple. And that was what really made Liv Morgan the MVP for me. And for most people, most of the audience and most of the fans and most of the media last year, Liv Morgan is, if not the one and only MVP for last year, you can even say it's outside even the women's division. The women's division, she was the MVP for WWE last year. Incredible. No wonder she and Dharma they were in Mumbai, when I say India, advertising and being the flag bearers for WWE and the ambassadors for the launch of Netflix, WWE launch of Netflix there in the great country of India. I love that. She if she was not a star before, she became a superstar last year because of everything that transpired. So to see that these stories will all be told in that match would be lovely. He also said Starks Lorenzo with Dark State. Yeah, it would be nice to see if that can be possible. I know Starks had something to say at the end of the show this last night, and I can't wait to see where that goes. Not appreciating El Grande American. I know this is very political. This is very close to home for some people. I don't want to. It's not as if I'm here to make fun or make jest of anything. I'm not here disrespecting anybody and their culture or anything. But I just felt like, in terms of the story being told, yeah, you could say it's little to no story. And now we are having Rey Mysterio versus El Grande at WrestleMania. Why? You would ask. And and you'll be like, oh, Chad Gable is one of the greatest, if not the great, in-ring performer in that company. And for somebody that just signed back with the company for a multi-year, and I still go back to the interview he did with Gorilla Position, the podcast he did, talking about resigning with WWE and why he did that, because of him saying if you were to be in the room sitting face to face with Triple H and hearing him talk to you about wanting to have you stay with him, you would understand that you are being cared for. And we can see that since he resigned, he's been on the shows. He's had something to do on the shows. I'm not sure there come any week or even more than 2 weeks that Chad was not part of the show one way or the other. You could see the fact that they pencil him in something, he's doing something, because that's how valuable that he is as a storyteller, as an in-ring performer, as a great worker, and an impeccable employee. He comes off as someone that is really, really a great person, like a human being. So, but for this show, we want to always get into the fandom, the personality and everything. I see this in terms of the story, based on the story of Chad Gable as a WWE superstar. You could see, last year, 2 stories we wanted to play for it to play out. Either Sheamus gets his just due Intercontinental Championship match and win it finally at WrestleMania, or we had Chad Gable, because those were the two big stories that surrounded that championship because of Gunther. And even when Gunther was no more champion, everybody was like, oh, it could have been still be better to have that story play out. And Chad Gable never got his moment winning that championship. I mean, the moments where he had his utter cry, or would you say with Sheamus that has fought tooth and nail to get that championship. So it felt like he was robbed of his moment, and Sami Zayn's story was being played, because obviously Sami is like the bigger star. No shade to Chad Gable, but Sami was the bigger star. That felt like the most story to tell. Even though people got angry a couple of weeks leading up to that, but the fact that Gable was instructed in to be the trainer and all of that, it led to that match being made, and those guys did what they did, and it was incredible and all of that. But at the end of the day, it was something that you look at and you are like, okay, Chad did not get his moment, and now he has resigned. He's been part of this. He's been part of the show for almost a year, since last leading up to this year. So you're like, is he going to be left out on the card again? So I felt the Chad Gable story hasn't really had a whole lot of meat on it. So having him come up with this new character and be like, just looking at, like, let's say they looked at it this way. Chad Gable knew personally, oh, there's no way I'm gonna make it on the card. But I can obviously, like a great man that he is, he's 4.0 GPA, you know how great he is. So he tells you how good he is too. So I felt this was a problem, like, okay, I might not get there. My guys are not even winning. They're not even gonna get me there. Avinali is not winning. She's not gonna get me there. So I need to, and I can't even get myself there at this point. So I need to come up with something that can get me there. I think that was the narrative they are trying to go with. And so to have this comic character come in and come in there, and now he has a match. Chad Gable has a match. Yes, he's now going with the Brandy American character. So you are trying to have a match. But if this can, we have one more Raw to go, this Monday Raw. So would Ray and Brandy have an altercation where we'll now have Max versus Max, and then at WrestleMania, after the great match is now, obviously Ray wins, and then it's been revealed that Brandy is actually Chad Gable. That will be a big moment, like it's WrestleMania moments, like this they will call it. It's just like a whole lot of moving parts that can come up on that show, which I feel nobody's really looking at it that way. But at the end of the day, I look at it, I'm like, that would be a great moment. But a part of me is just like, oh, this character just started like, let's say, a couple of weeks ago. We'll see what to say it being strong a lot. Like, I love the music, I love the in-ring personality behind it. It's just so great. Not to sound like TK here, but like, you know what I mean there. So this is just me trying to like go through what Chris had to say on the stream last night. Shout out to you, Chris. That was an incredible job for you. What you did holding the show down last night on the streaming, incredible stream, great show last night. Jada Parker is no joke. This is me reviewing NXT now. Jada Parker is no joke. Miss Parker on the game. Every time she comes out, I just see the superstar in her, and I love the Grace match and everything. Grace, what was that with that suicide? I'm like, oh shit. I love the fact that she made a joke about it on X. That was lovely to see. You know, that shows that he did. This is the high risk, high reward. You know, it almost did not pay off. So the Fatal 4-Way. You could see that even in NXT, stories are still being played out. This year felt more like it was now year. And would you say lazy booking? You see them trying to pack everybody to WrestleMania, find what's WrestleMania week, whatever it is. But Julia is back, and we are looking at the Fatal 4-Way between Miss Parker, Jada Parker, Jordan Grace. We have Julia and Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver at WrestleMania weekend. That's next weekend. You know, Swipe Right, Sent Left. That was an incredible match by Swipe Right from Fraxium. They did an incredible job. Big reminder from Fraxium that they are in one of the best, if not the best tag team in WWE, and you can even say arguably pro wrestling. No wonder I believe they were the top number one tag team. Was it the news? How do they call that award by the also the Wrestling Observer Awards? Yeah, I believe they were the number one tag team in the entire world. So no wonder they are. Next Tuesday, more decisions will be made and more fates will be realized. I wanted to go. I love how backstage was being handled today. I love the fact that I don't like my champions losing, but I like how they did that in the way where Javon Evans was being caught up in that alone. And then we had the two big egos, Obafemi and Trick Williams getting at it and forgetting that they had a match and all of that. Javon was left to suffer and be killed by literally being beaten to death by Dark State. And that was an incredible match. That was an incredible show by the faction, and I love how they were handled. I love how the match went. Everything, the super could see everything being done. And I love also the calling, being headed by Sean Spears. I love the fact that he told them, I know everybody's gonna get mad, this, that, and everything, but this is more about yeah. Okay, so we have a chat by Isaac Delgado. Isaac Delgado say sorry if I'm butchering your name. Hey, good morning, this is Good Morning Wrestling. Samuel Lyon. Hey, Samuel Lyon, you'll be here next Wednesday morning again. Yeah, I'll be here. I'm here every Mondays morning, Wednesday mornings, and Friday mornings. And even when I'm not on seats on the host chair, don't panic. Someone will hold it down. But for the most part, you have to deal with me. So I'll always be here. Definitely I'll be here next Wednesdays because it's WrestleMania weekend. It's WrestleMania week next week. So all week, I'm even thinking we are working on something for the show to see. I've not gotten this by with our host, our founder, producer, Sakev yet. So I can't really say anything on it, but we're working on something for next week to see what we can do next week. But just be rest assured, Good Morning Wrestling will still be here on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if anything would be changing for next week, we'll let you know by Monday when we are here for the live show to kick off the WrestleMania week. So this is still Good Morning Wrestling with your host, Samuel Lyon, as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast here on Sports Jedi Network. So we are live. Thank you so much, Delgado, for sending in the chat this morning. So back to what I was saying. I like how he said, because we heard that he signed with NXT WWE, to also help train, produce, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Spears I'm talking about here. And so to see the fact that he said, I know everybody will be talking about me and everything, but you should understand, like, this is not mainly about me. It's also about you, Dane, and also Jensen and Nico Vance. I love how they all went out there and they got a win for the team. That was incredible to see. And still on the show, Ricky Starks, incredible, impeccable. I love how it's been handled. I love the fact that we had the top players from the division come out in Wesley, in Eddie Top. Eddie Top has not still gotten to me. Like, I still haven't bought the character. I wish I'm still waiting to see more from him. But Wesley, one of, if not the greatest North American champion of our generation. Obviously, it was the championship was created, so definitely, yeah. One of, if not the best and the greatest North American champion. I mean, the championship matches that dude had when he was champion was impeccable. If I got me judged, and having Wesley come out there in the page and Eddie Top, like that would be beautiful. So I believe there's a match announced for next week. Whoever wins gets the challenge, and I'm very sure that might be the page. And we can. Oh yeah, Lexis King came out too. So I love the old call back to the former AEW guys. If you were to go to say that. And I'm just having a feeling that it might be all ego because obviously it's WrestleMania. Come on. What I would love to see, I would have loved to see. I know we already have a ladder match for that championship for the women. So I just wish there would be a way because this Ethan versus this Ethan Ricky Stark story is something that I believe we need more time to get in on it and like see how, because these guys have a lot to say. Yes, we can actually do give them all ego win. Yeah, good morning. So we have a link from Nate Stock. Yo, welcome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. So, what about opinions and comments you have to say here on Good Morning Wrestling? Yeah, as part of Hill of the Ring podcast here on Sports Jedi Network Live. You could send in. Thank you so much, Nate Stock, for sending in the chat. So I just wish, because I believe there's more meat on this bone. I love this. I want these guys to go out there I want the attacks to keep coming in, and we need more promo back and forth from them. Now that everybody's getting into the mix, I know we already have another match. I wish maybe they could have like something go down and then we don't have a winner and then we just have maybe a fatal 5-way. Let's just get everybody to WrestleMania this year. This year should be the one year we should excuse this company for like, oh, everything is like looking at multi. Is this a WrestleMania #multi everybody on the show? Let's just get everybody on the show. Like at this point, everybody should just be on the show. So because already we are literally packing triple threat for the men's championship, fatal point for the women's championship, ladder match for the North American championship. Let's just get everybody on the goddamn show. So I love to see where they go with that. And yeah, that was it for NXT. This is gonna be a very, like I said, keep it simple and stupid. It's gonna be a kiss show, very simple. And I'm just gonna go in on things. This is going to be the Lion Den section. Yes, the Lion Den segment, Den section part of the show where I'll go into the Lion's Den and I'm going to dissect all of the happenings, the key happenings from the world of pro wrestling. So for the first start, let's see what we have. The first topic we have here to go in on. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, so this is amazing. I had this picture saved up, this from the show SmackDown last week, where we had Rey Fenix debut live on the show with a match against Nathan Frazier. And after the match, this was his reaction. Like, it's funny how you would, I want to say this and I feel it, because we all, one way or the other, are trying to make a name for ourselves. We all, even if you are out there, you are not in the media business, maybe you have a job, you're 5 to 9, or you are running a business. All of us want to be able to look back at ourselves and be like, I did that. To look back at our career and be like, I did that. To be able to wake up every morning to say you're able to achieve a dream or a goal you pursued. And for Rey Fenix, I can't just imagine all he has had to deal with and all he's had to, to overcome, to be who he is, to be where he is. And I just love the fact that it all came out. We were making jokes. Oh, he's been locked up in Guantanamo Bay over there in the land of freezing. And the fact that when we heard, he was supposed to be released and he wants to get let out. Tony was pissed and all of that. And his brother was got freed and his contract expired. But from the story being heard, that Phoenix still had a lot of things, like he had a lot of time left on the contract and he wanted out. Yeah, sincerely, we give Tony a lot of shit. Most of the shit given to Tony, he deserves. because it's all facts. But this was one of those cases. Oh, we have a chat by Nate Dog. How you doing? Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch Good Morning Wrestling with me this morning. I love the fact that you are here. I appreciate the fact that you are here, and I hope you can enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nate Dog, for joining the show. So back, I tend to look at this like I had this saved up just like I said in the beginning because I just like I felt it. So back to Tony, most of the shits he gets from the audience, the fans, both the IWC and even all around, it's deserving. But this was the one case like I did not really like. Yes, as a human being, I was like, you ain't using him, let him go. But as a businessman, I'm like, I mean, he still has a lot of contracts, a lot of time left to fulfill yet. But you don't want to use him. It's not as if you want to use him. So I'm like, would you rather waste obviously not Tony is not wasting because he has a whole lot of paper creams in there. But I just felt like why would you rather be paying somebody money that you're not using? Would you not rather let him go and then you just focus on those who got like I know Jerry from NY used to say things like, oh, like I think at this point is to just go in there, call for a town hall meeting, all the old superstars, everybody come in there, producer, everybody come in there. Like, if you want to stay with me this way, if you don't want to stay with me this way, and let me know who I'm working with. At this point, it feels that way. That's what it should feel. But so like it's just like a whole situation around there, and you just look at it and you're like, what is actually going on there? And I love the fact that he was released, and this moment was so great for me. Like it was so amazing for me as a fan, because I looked at it and I'm like, I was so proud that because I felt it as a human being. I actually did feel how feel for him actually, because I'm like, bro, it has to feel some kind of way that you would be with somebody. And yeah, that is another picture taken from the show Friday Night SmackDown, where we had Nathan Frazier and this thing. They did an incredible job. I mean, that rope, I believe, was it a kick from hell? Like I don't know how they call that move, where he ran the ropes and kicked. He literally kicked Nathan Frazier's head off on that show. It was impeccable. I was like, shit, that was amazing. And to go back to this moment, because I just really need to like to give the virtual look. I literally felt like it was amazing for him. So to have him cut that promo now is now officially WWE's Animo. Like it felt like it felt real to me. I wouldn't like. I watched the show with my godparents. My godmother literally sat there. She was like, "That's Penta's," but that's Penta's, but she doesn't know. She knew because we've been a big fan of Penta since from Lucha Underground. So my godmother didn't actually know no more on the Ray Phoenix as a whole, but she knows a little about him. So when I'm like, oh, that's this Ray Phoenix, and she did watch him and everything, and then when he did cry and everything, so I was like trying to give her the backstory of like why I feel like why is Nigeria so emotional, all of that. So it was just a whole lot of things, and I really felt so proud of Ray Phoenix. Welcome, and I hope you could like. There was another video, the one posted by Triple H. Triple H used to do this pointing to the new stars or new champions, and we got one from the video for Ray Phoenix, and that moment he did hug Triple H, and then I believe he was crying on the show. That if he wasn't, I was saying something good, but it felt so emotional to me. I'm like, we all want to have that validation of like being with. You could call Triple H all you want, you could call him this all you want, you could say, oh, this is been better, all of that. But I just believe sometimes there are some people that sometimes this is his moment. Let's not focus on let's see from from tomorrow, maybe from 6 months time. Let's see if it still will be relevant. I don't care about 6 months time at this point. This moment matters to me. Me seeing this man overcome with emotion, this man getting a chance at life again. If it all ends I believe for me, I don't know for him, but as me as a fan, if it all ended here, maybe this was his first and his final match, maybe something happened, he could not fight anymore. As a fan, I feel fulfilled because I'm like, he told me he achieved a dream. I believe he did achieve a dream because where he was years ago, where he was 5 years ago, where he is now, is two different places. So I love the fact that he showed me the emotion. He told me about it, and I felt it on the screen. And I'm like, damn, well deserved. Well, I don't get whatever happens 2 months from now, 3 months from now. I feel this man would be able to sleep and wake up in the morning and be fulfilled if it all ends today. This moment, you can't take this away from him. Never would you ever take this moment away from him. That moment that he came out like a superstar, that moment he came out, had this match, the moment they counted 3 and everything showed that, oh, I'm officially here. You can never take this away from him. WWE themselves can never take this away from him. This moment is his forever. So I don't care. I don't know why we should be focused more on things that, oh, let's see how he's so petty. Let's see how all his negativity and all of that. This is all that matters. This man looking so emotional. This man literally bawling his eyes out because he's living his dream. So go out there and get your dream. Damn. We have a chat from, I can see our host, our founder, Sakev on the chat. Good morning, wrestling. Good morning, Samuel. Thank you so much, Sal. Welcome. Thank you so much. Nate also said, I feel Rollins will get Heyman somehow in. Rollins will get Heyman somehow in his corner. Obviously, Heyman is going out with Heyman is going out alone. Heyman is going out with Heyman will be going out on the show with Punk. At least that was what Punk told us he wants, and that's what the favor he is asking for. But with the story being told this past Monday, which we are gonna get in on, I believe we should even get down on it right now. We should get down on it. Okay, we should get down on it right now. We should get down on it. Get to it. We should get to it. Yeah. Okay. Paul Heyman is one of the greatest minds in pro wrestling. Aside from Vince. I know that will not go with some people. Vince McMahon, you would say, is one of, if not the greatest mind in the world of pro wrestling. Everybody follows after that. Because what we are enjoying today is the vision of somebody like that. You don't have to you and I don't have to like the personality, the person that he is outside of the pro wrestling world. At the end of the day, we are wrestling fans. We are supposed to only focus on the wrestling and the shows and everything. That's all we need to be focused on. That's all we should always be focused on. But with the way we have evolved and transitioned over the years, we've been tuned to care more outside the ring too. So the man outside of the ring, I don't want to have anything to do with. I don't even want to know that one because he's not somebody that you would want to know, obviously. But the man that ran this ship, the man that led us to this point, or to the point where Triple H took over, or to the point where a lot of people took over and made it where it is, you can say it's his vision. Paul Heyman is one of those ones, if not one of them. The way this story has been crafted, this is why I love Good Morning Wrestling, because it gives me the outlet, which I still say we are working on. I would be having a session where I would be when I have a meeting with Sakev, we'll look on how we can, bring up something still for Sports Jedi Network to see how we can make it, because it's more than wrestling, it's more than sports. There's life after sports, there's life beyond sports, and I don't feel we should always be dwelling on the sports and everything, the show, the wrestling. That's why we always, especially on this show, I try to bring more creative things to see how we can, not only are we, not only should we be dwelling on the wrestling aspect, we should see how is it relatable? How do you feel? That's why I catch a lot of flag and I get one often. That's why I'm always disclaimer. These are all my opinion. These are all subjective to me. He doesn't have any opinion to all anything to do with Sport Jedi Network or Hill of the Ring podcast. This is Samuel Lyon, and this is all opinion from Samuel and how I feel at this point. I come in here, I prepare my notes, I watch the show, I watch the product, I check out anything I need to check out. When I come in here, I give my takes based on how I feel, and then I cross check with my notes, and then tell you my feeling at the point where I'm on the show with you. And looking at the whole thing with Paul Heyman is this is a triangle right now. With Punk, I had here with Reigns is more of reverence, not fear. Will you say? Yes, it's more of reverence. It's more of appreciation. It's more of gratitude. It's more of I was not supposed to be here, but you've taken me in, and I need to be of value to you because you've used your value to uplift me. It's more of worship. I hate to use that word, but that's how I see the relationship between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. That's how you see him always, my tribal chief. You always see him always in full gratitude, always in. I mean, you could say you have to say, oh, Roman left him for dead. Roman was more is egotistical, he's selfish, he's all of that. He's using Paul Heyman. You could say the same thing because Paul Heyman is literally using Roman because if Roman was not who Roman is, Paul would not even be relevant today. Allegedly. With Punk, is more of a love first. It's more of, oh, my best friend. You say that my best friend in the world. Somebody I've known, somebody that was given to me. They gave Punk to him 20 plus years ago in OVW. He was the one that took care of Punk. Punk helped him out. They literally worked together to make that show what it was. They grew together. He came to the main roster. They worked together. Heyman got fired. Everything that Punk even told you the story. You could go back and listen to what Punk said. But like it's more of a love fest. It's just like what I would like imagine. The way I'm going to talk about Sakev will be different from the way I'm going to talk about Chris, because I've known Chris for almost 2 years. I've just started a relationship with this network and Sakev. So it's like we are learning to be on this thing. But so the way I'm going to address Sakev is going to be different from the way I'm going to address Chris, because I've known Chris for a very long time. I've known Chris for nearly 2 years now. So it feels that way with Punk and Heyman, because they've had this long-standing relationship. Just only the wrestling, the in-ring, or the camera, the in-ring or camera ones we've taken, you know the story. What about the off-camera? What about relationship they have outside the camera? I mean, that man literally sat down with his 2 children during his Hall of Fame speech. Roman was the one that inducted him, but Roman was not there. Punk was the one that sat down in the family seat, the family reservation. Punk with his 2 kids, So this is more than wrestling to Heyman. When I saw those Heyman literally in tears and Punk with his red eyes, short red eyes, when Heyman said, "Yes, it's in there. It's in there. You are closing the show." Like, it feels as if I'm breaking a news, or Chris is breaking a news to me. It will feel more coming from Chris, because Chris knows where I was months ago, or he knows where I was years ago. So to see me where I am now and him breaking some good news to me, it comes off more emotional. So I feel, fans will give them flag. Oh, yeah, they're wrestling. tears and crying. If you know the story, if you know the 2 decades plus history they have, you know that was more than resting. That was no more than a walk. That was a effing shoot, and you could see where they were going with this, and I feel that of that love fest. But Heyman said Rollins, shit, that is a toxic relationship. Is the fact that Rollins recognizes the value that Heyman brings to anybody he's connected to. Is the fact that Rollins recognizes the capacity, the aura, the live aura, the greatness, and the history that is Paul Heyman. Same goes to Heyman. Heyman knows exactly the same thing about Rollins. But here is the trick. Here's the trick. Because at this point, both of them are like they love each other. They understand how valuable they are to each other. But they are not really, they are not vibing. They are not in that movement. I love you, but I love you, but because tell me how instead to be coming and then you should leave these two guys, but at the same time you are like literally like trying to beat it over his head, trying to abuse him. You get, and Heyman is like Heyman is like, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do this. Don't. We've never seen Heyman go off on Brock or any of his partners. If he has, please show me, because I've never seen one. Even Punk, even Reigns, Heyman has never gone off on anyone. Especially if I'm like, but he's going off on, even when he was with Cody, even not like with Cody, but even when he was doing those promo battles with Cody, he had never for once, go off on that love fest, Cody Paul. He has never. But him going off on Rollins made me like, oh shit. I would love to see this dynamic. It comes like the toxic relationship, the relationship that you know you are not supposed to be into. The relationship that we're not supposed to be into, but you just love how you feel when you're with that person, and you're like, I hate you, but I love you at the same time. It's just so crazy. I want me that Heyman Paul connection. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but I feel Rollins needs to leave WrestleMania with Paul Heyman. So you need to acknowledge us and please hit that like button. That like button will do so much good for us. Acknowledge us and hit that like button. Make us the best in the world and subscribe to this channel, and please burn it down and be the visionary and share and follow on all our social media platforms and social media handles. This is still Good Morning Wrestling with your host Samuel Lyon as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast. Yeah. Don't even just check off. You will see where you can hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Yeah, live on the Sport Jedi Network. Thank you so much, Sakev. Thank you so much, Chris, for this opportunity. I love being here every morning when it's showtime because it's so amazing to be a part of this show. So I would love to see that, and thank you so much, Nate. Nate Dog for this opportunity, for the chats you sent in. So we're gonna continue because we need to call it a show. But before we call it a show, we'll go by on the big topics, Lions, then segment, and this is one we want to get into. All right. So Stephanie's Places is definitely another one we would love to get into the last episode. Today is Wednesday, so the episode on Rhea Ripley will be dropping today. Will be dropping today. We're premiering today, and if God willing, we'll be able to address that on Friday. If we can't, we'll do that on Monday. But definitely, the new episode will be coming out this today Wednesday, and we'd love to get into that too. But Stephanie did episode 2 of Stephanie's Places with the 2 Nepo babies. Stephanie, and this episode was on Cody Rhodes, and I had a couple of notes taken from the 30 minutes, I believe 30 minutes show. The Cody line came to life when he was, saying that Brandy blew air into his ear, and when she was making her earring debut with the Texas hair, time of the big hair type of thing, saying that Brandy was the one that made the first move. This is Cody Trust trying to be cool and all that. We know the Cody line, and it was a fun thing, being them, filming it at center stage where his dad made memories, where he was the booker, where the WCW, where they used to shoot WWE from, and in ATL there in Atlanta, yeah. So like we just had to get those history and all of that. And one of the big parts of this series, this show was when they got into him leaving WWE for the time he left, and he did say something like, "I would have been the laughing stock of the business if I had not worked out." This was Cody Rhodes on leaving WWE, and you tend to understand where he's coming from with that narrative, because most times I don't know where I addressed this. I believe that was on the last Wednesday show, where we had to be on the show, and I did say things like, when we are addressing the Cody John Cena narrative, where Cena was like, "Oh, he left, right? He left. He stayed to build, and made billionaires. Whereas Cody left and steal from billionaires' kids." And you tend to see, I'm the last of my generation. I'm the last of the 90s babies, and the 90s, or the leading up to the 90s, we had that idea like, oh, you endure, you are patient, you grind, you push, you great makes greatness. You have to have the grit, you have to have the this. And just like a whole lot of scenarios that surrounds that particular narrative. And most times there are things you need to pull the plug on. But for this toughness mentality being a staple on minds, it tends to drag, and it tends to bring up issues and all of that for audiences and people. And then you now tend to like, when do I pull the plug on something that feels the plug needs to be pulled off of? Like, it's just a whole lot. And I feel for those that tend to deal with this. And Cody, you would say this would be for argument, maybe years from now when the documentary is out, and we'll be arguing, and this generation will be arguing the next generation, like, oh, what if narrative, what if Cody stayed? Would it have been better? You would never know. But looking in hindsight, looking now, it was best he left. If he said, "I would have been the laughing stock," would you question? I mean, so it's just a whole lot. So we are proud he did leave, and right now if he did not leave, would there ever be an all-in? Would there ever be an opportunity where Tony Khan would have eventually still launch his company? But I'm not sure AEW will be a thing if All In did not happen, if Cody did not leave, if the Young Bucks, Cody and Kenny Omega did not take the bet, and like, oh, so we cannot put 10,000 seats, 10,000 people in an arena outside WWE. Give us the opportunity. Let's show you that we can do it. And in under 5 minutes or 4 minutes and 15 seconds, if that's the record, they blew that shit off, and they did that shit. And we are with 5 years from now. 5 years later, here we are. people are getting paid. People like Kevin Knight are coming in and being on the pay-per-view 2 days after they are getting signed. In wrestling, there's more than one royal family. Yeah, it seems the way he even said he wishes, one of his wishes, that his kid gets to say, his daughter Liberty gets to be the one to do that intro on his team music and all of that. Yeah, wrestling has been one royal family for it. There can even be an episode, a full-blown podcast, a full-blown documentary on royal families of wrestling. And we'll be doing on that on a very special day. So like, I love the fact that everything that can on the show. This was an incredible show. If you haven't checked it out, ESPN original, you can go check it out on ESPN Plus, or how you can go check out how you can get that. So please don't forget to acknowledge me and and hit the like button, and also please make us the best in the world and subscribe to this channel, this network, this Spotify network, and please burn it down and be a visionary and share and follow on all our social media handles. This is still the Samuel Lion. No, this is still Good Morning Wrestling with Samuel Lion, as part of the Hill of the Ring podcast here on Sports Jedi Network. So we would move from this and address, should this be like our last topic? No, we have to give us, so last night Triple H was on the Jimmy Fallon show. Jimmy Fallon, yeah, he was on the show, and he did, had a lot to say, obviously talking about WrestleMania, going on his numerous characters, talking about the Hall of Fame ceremony, how he's going to be inducted in there, but even if he puts himself in there, it is well deserved. I mean, come on, this man is a legend. And he talked about the WrestleMania and everything that's going to transpire there. There's everything. One of the lines he said on the show was, they say everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but everything that will happen during WrestleMania week would be worldwide. So you can go check out the sit down with Jimmy Fallon, and also definitely you be ready for WrestleMania week. And just like I said, I believe we should be working on something to make WrestleMania week a great one here on the Sport Jedi Network, and definitely the Good Morning Wrestling show will be checking out, seeing what we can bring to more content, more creativity on the show. So this is one of the things I wanted to get into. If I did not give any take on this, I think I would not be pleased. My goodness, I don't know how much Carlito owed to Braun, but whatever debt he owed to Braun, with this obituary, I'm not sure he'll be able to pay off, because if I even see him walking by next week Monday, he should come and tell us, the doctor that is taking care of him, and what he was being he was being treated with. Because my God, by God, did Braun Breaker literally, like, Breaker should be studied. What Breaker does with his body, the way Breaker uses his body, is madness. It's like it makes you question humanity. It makes you question him as if he's like the DNA. It makes you, no wonder he has blood connections with Big Papa Pop. Like, damn, boy is a freak of nature. And my goodness, all the guys that took the spear, I mean, you are good with what you do. You damn. So that was amazing. So yeah, we'll be having the fatal 4-way match at WrestleMania. Braun Breaker will be defending his championship against Penta. We talked a lot about that at the beginning of the show. Braun, Penta, Dominik Mysterio, and Finn Balor at WrestleMania. So more on that. We would be working on that. But we'll end the show with the topic that here on the Lion segment. With this, we'll end the show with this particular one, because this one comes close to home. Gunther J. So so Jay said he would be praying for Gunther. He would having a prayer before the match. Before the match. to literally be in penitentiary, get forgiveness for the man he's going to become. Yes, Jay has gotten a lot of flack. I have given him flack too, because I'm like, with everything that transpired with this man, you would think it would be a whole lot. You will be hitting off on all cylinder. If there's any match that should be a bloodbath, if there's any match that should go 45 minutes, 1 hour, this is the match. Jay has been called out on not being Jimmy is the better pro wrestler. Jay is the better sports entertainer. But the entrance, the eating, the sports entertainment has gotten him to the match. There's only one thing remaining: in-ring work. And to go one-on-one with none other than the ring master himself, the ring general in Gunther. If there's anyone that can expose anybody as a wrestler, it's Gunther. So this is like the worst person to put Jay in a match with, because Gunther would not want to look bad and reduce his stock. So in this context, Jay has a lot to prove. Not only is he a challenger, not only is he a former player. Right now he has the whole of IWC breathing down his neck. Right now the whole world is like, I don't know why he needs to show me why he's the winner. It's just a whole lot of call from his end, and Jay needs to go into this match all guns are blazing. He needs to throw everything, including, we used to say throw everything except the kitchen sink. But this match, Jay needs to throw everything, including the kitchen sink and the foundation of the house, at Gunther. If not, if there's anything lesser than that, and he still comes out victorious, bro, the backlash this man is about to get would be something you would not even imagine. So Jay needs to go out there. I was thinking, after what happened transpired last week, that when next Jay and Gunther see, it will be on site. I mean, Jay would literally be coming out with everything, guns are blazing at Gunther. But still back to the old age and the new age. Right now, men are told, we need to get to therapy, we need to get into therapy, we need to be able to, address our feelings, we need to be able to manage emotions, let us not be the angry men walking around with fire on our head. So, like, you would expect to be guns blazing on site, but that was what I expect, that's what I feel is needed. But I love this move because it proves we are in a new age. That somebody did something to you, why should you go blow to blow with the person and not, maybe give a warning to the person? And if this thing repeats again, or if, like in this case, there's a match already set, there's a date for this match set, so you've been able to take it very personal with me. I'm giving you a warning now, because come the day that it is official for me to be able to do what I'm supposed to do to you and do anything, just about anything to you, I'm coming to warn you that you better be on the lookout, because whatever you see on that day is the result of everything you've put me through. You told me 10 weeks of hell. Bro, this is more than hell to me. Come WrestleMania, the man that you'll be with, you. I felt that. When he talked about his mom, when he talked about, like, it's always the case for the elder brother to protect the younger brother. And that's what Jimmy sought out to do last week. And he got caught up in the fire. But the fact that he said, I'm like, Joshua, why didn't you take care of you? Why didn't you protect your brother? I'm like, before your mom, tells you to protect your elder brother, that's crazy to me. I felt that, like, if I was in the room, or I was, in the room when he was answering that call and hearing his mom tell him, like, literally, my son is in the hospital because of you. Like, everybody, the whole family should be blaming you for everything. You are the one that caused this. You're the one that has made this happen. You're the one, because of it, he came to help you. He came to, like, you can't even imagine the emotional tirade that this man is on. And this match needs to be There's a lot of matches on this card. A lot that is the type, but this is the one. Like everything has different purpose, but this is the one match. Like if you ask me what's the one match that you're looking forward to watching, not because of like the outcome or what's it, like this is the one match I'm going in. I'm like, I expect you to. If you cannot impress me or blow my socks off in anything else, this match and probably the Jade and Naomi match, those are the two matches I'm like, if there's everything that needs to be thrown at anybody, including the kitchen sink and the foundation, this match and Naomi and Jade's match are the two matches that everything needs to be thrown. Like we need to have everybody on the case because it needs to be the greatest thing we've seen as fans. And I can't wait to see what Jay and Gunther would do. And definitely would, looking forward to the show, looking forward to WrestleMania. I don't know when this match will be happening, either at night 1 or night 2, but whenever it's going to happen, it's going to be a great one. And with that said, the past 2 days of Pressing World has been amazing. And you heard my thoughts on Dynasty, and I don't want to go in there. So tonight, not only Stephanie Place's debuting, I'm premiering with the Rhea Ripley's episode, but also Dynamite is tonight. Obviously, we know anybody don't know how to forward stories and follow up stories. Sunday was Sunday. This is Wednesday. Is a new week. Is a new day. So we are going to see what they have to offer. But from the announcements that the man, the general manager, the president, the CEO, the founder, the creator, the man that wears all the hats, Tony Khan, put out Pac versus Swerve Strickland for the first time ever in AEW. I don't know why it's always about pro wrestling with these people. Like wrestling. Why is Swerve having a match with Pac? Shouldn't he be pissed? This was a great show, guys. I don't want to get into any. You need to stay positive. It's a Good Morning Wrestling show. And I love the fact that you all were here. This is Good Morning Wrestling with your host, Samuel Lyon. Yeah, as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast, live on Sports Jedi Network. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do us a favor and subscribe. You like, you share, you comment, you put us out on, spread the word for us on social media and all social media handles. It's so amazing to be here with you on your Monday morning, for you, taking your coffee, your sprinkle of tea, and your room temperature water. I love the fact that I have the opportunity to be here every morning. I was here on Mondays, I'm here on Wednesdays, and I'll be here on Friday. So 3 days a week we come for you. So next week will be an incredible week. That's the WrestleMania week kicks off on Monday, and Good Morning Wrestling will be there on Monday, and we'll be working to see what we can do to add more content and more shows. And we are working on things. I believe we should work it. I know Sakef is already on something. Chris should be on something. So we're gonna see how we can make this network, this channel, more content packed, especially the big week we're about to enter. There will be a lot of content going on, and we don't want to miss out on the opportunity to not be on the show and not be able to put out something for you. So I love the fact that you joined me this morning. We kicked off pretty early, but I know for sure that if you haven't gotten a chance to be here with us live, or if you're just joining us because we are almost time for the kickoff, but we started early, you can also check back on the great hour plus that we had here on the show. I love the fact that I'm here. Thank you so much, Sake. Thank you so much, Chris, for this opportunity to always be live on this channel, the opportunity to be live. I'm grateful. I still remain your humble host, Samuel Lyon. This was Good Morning Wrestling, on Sports Jedi Network. I'm so grateful. God bless you. May the sports be with you, as we call it, a show, on Good Morning Wrestling, and as part of the Hill of the Ring podcast on Sports Jedi Network. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share on our social media platform. I love you. Peace.